Got two people here. I thought I didn't even push go live yet, and you guys are already showing up. I don't know if my light here is gonna mess with this or not. I don't know if that looks better or not. How's it going, Ted? You haven't blown away yet, have you, buddy? You're clear. Hopefully it looks better on your guys' screen than mine. Mine is so big it just looks awful. How's it going, cuz? I'm bored out of my mind. All this crappy weather and blowing and rain is just miserable. 81 degrees. Is it going to be a part of your place tomorrow? I'm ready to go somewhere where it's warmer. Got room for 50 head of cattle to come with me? Yeah, it's been raining and then sleet and then rain and then sleet back and forth here. It's been a miserable day. So, Ted, is the garage big enough for that tractor to fit in so it's not covered in snow tomorrow when you got to go back to the farm? I'm assuming you probably don't have a big shed at home to park it in. Rain and 60s tomorrow and Sunday. Well, tomorrow's high is supposed to be like 30, I think it said. Tomorrow's high is 30 in snow. Sunday 32 in flurries. But Monday on is 40 and above. So we're really hoping that it does stay in the 40s and that winter rye gets growing and hopefully it grows like a weed. So I'd really like to make some winter rye, get some made for feed this year because with the way I have everything planned, I'm going to have less hay grown this year than I did last year. So going to really need that extra forage. 85 and sunny here, rocking on the porch. You and the missus having a sweet tea and watching the kids play out in the lawn? 40 here Monday, they're saying, yeah. Try cane after the rye. Biggest thing, I need the money from the corn and the beans. So that's why I don't know if the winter rye is gonna have enough time to get going because I want to get them that corn and beans planted on time this year. Try and get it a week or two earlier than last year and see if I can't push it for a little bit better yields. Try and get it growing really good before the frost hits in June, they're saying. So yeah. Otherwise, one of these years, once I have enough steers on the lot and I don't have to rely on the corn and the bean sales, then I'm gonna try some of the things that you're doing with the cane and hay grazer or whatever. Probably gonna chop a bunch and pile it and pack it. So I need 2 more years though. So yeah. Um, Same here, cold and rainy, miserable day. So I'm assuming because you're not working at the golf course right now, then could try a small strip just for future reference. And that's a possibility. How late do I have to plant that? Because I'm gonna leave like 2.5 acres of rye grow this year for the seed and then for straw for my calving pens. Um, if I can get that rye off and there's still time to plant it then and try it, do you think it'll work? I might give it a shot. Worst comes to worst, I probably won't harvest it mechanically. I'll harvest it with my four-legged forage harvesters. Do you think that would be worthwhile if there's enough time? Kind of gonna ask you on that one, Ted, because you're experienced with that. There's nobody around here that's ever grown it that I know of. Working there, but just working on the mowers right now, changing oil, sharpening blades, that type of thing. Yeah, I should be working out in the shop on stuff too, but I don't like to get too too ahead of myself. So rye makes great straw. It lasts so much better in the wet weather than corn shreds. I agree. And my plan is when I combine the rye, I'm gonna use my straw chopper on the combine this time around and try and get shorter pieces, 6, 8 inch long pieces or whatever. Maybe take every other knife out or something. Um, just so the straw shakes out easier in the calving barn. I am in the house. That test earlier, it's just too far for my router and the receiver on this computer to reach 350 feet, apparently. I mean, you previewed it, I think. It kind of works, but me and Will are going to get that Wi-Fi put out in the barn. Um, and the wireless router that we're going to put out there has like 3 times the capabilities that this one in the house has. So probably when I'm in the house, my phone's going to want to stay connected to the one in the barn instead of the one in the house. We tested it last summer, but our cables weren't good enough. We had cables spliced together. So that one has a lot bigger range than the one that's in the house. So that should cover the shop, the house, basically the whole cow yard, basically the whole yard. So and then we're gonna get that camera system installed at the same time. So um yeah, there's not much else to do other than get stuff ready. I'm sure once spring gets here, it's gonna be go, go, go. Grass is gonna probably grow like crazy. Harvest rye in late July or early August. Been too long since I've been around it. Well, it's been 2 years now since I did it, and I didn't push that rye, so I don't know if maybe I throw some fertilizer at it, give it some extra nitrogen and stuff. That'll get it growing faster, get it to maturity faster, or if it's just going to make a bigger plant that you know could be a catch-22 situation there. Plant proton after rye. It's a Sudex hybrid with beans and peas to help nitrogen. Makes great feed and tonnage, and that's a possibility too. Ken, I might have to ask you that later because I probably won't remember it. But if it's something that you think that I could graze off, then it's probably what is going to happen is it'll be grazed because the field in the front is going to be hay. Then there's going to be like 2 to 3 acres of rye, and then 6.5 acres of silage corn behind it. So plan is to get a cover crop on the rye and that silage field right away, so we can graze it because my pastures aren't going to last that long if it goes to seed. How's it going, Bandit? Um, every other knife is about an inch. Well, the knives on my chopper, there's got to be like 4 inches between them. So I think if I take out every other one, I would think that I could get straw shreds about 8 inches long. I would think. I don't know. The last straw or the ride that I did the first year I was making videos, that straw was fine. It's just it gets so long that when you're shaking it out in the calving barn, it'd be nice to have it a little bit shorter, but I don't want to chop with a chopper, like 717. That just is going to get it too short. Yeah, if spring ever comes. Yeah, I agree, Ted. When spring does get here, it's going to be crazy. Got a question about a tractor for you. Well, you ask away, Bandit. Oh, what is it to give a heavy dose? I don't know. I've never messed with liquid nitrogen, Darren. It's so much easier just to get the spinner spreader from the co-op. Yeah, Dan, I've always had really good luck after corn silage and after oats with new seeding, especially alfalfa and clover. Even grasses too. They normally get up 3 inches, 4 inches before wintertime. Um, yeah, that's and the worst part, like you say, Dan, mine has had cattle on it, and now it has heavy, heavy deer eating on it, so that sets it behind. That's why I'm probably going to have to push it with um, give it a shot of potash, and then really hit it with some urea, maybe some urea and AMS mix. Um, how's it going, Scott? 6 loads of firewood off that tree so far. Wow. S- Seen seed rye get 5 to 6 feet tall. Yeah, the stuff that I combined 2 years ago, we had planted it. We only seeded like a bag to the acre, and that stuff was all 4 feet tall. I didn't put any fertilizer on it or nothing. I just let it go on its own, and it was a little thin in spots. But winter rye is a different animal, and I should say cereal rye because I've a lot of people send me messages asking about it, and they when I say winter rye or rye, they wonder if I'm talking about cereal rye or if I'm talking about Italian rye, and um, oh, you're talking forage chopper. I'm talking about the straw chopper on my combine. Um, I'm not going to chop it with my 718. If I chopped it for bedding, I'd use a 717, which only has 9 knives in it. But there, even that one still gets it too short. So I'm using my laptop this time around instead of my phone. That way, YouTube has this new thing. We don't have to use the encoder anymore. So I really wanted to use that and try it, see how it's going to work. It's just as easy to use as it was with the phone. So, which is kind of why I haven't been using computers lately because the encoders keep having issues. Um, yeah, you can plant late, comes quick, grease is great. Just have to pull off right after frost for a few days. Yeah, okay, I'll keep that in mind. And I'm really hoping to get my corn harvested early enough that I get the cows on corn stalks, so I would be on corn stalks before the frost. But we'll take a look outside. It's hard to predict what the weather is going to do. How about a 2007 6603 John Deere 4x4 cab heat air like new 700 original hours on it? Guy bought it new and stopped farming and put it for sale 38,000. I'd have to look that up. I don't know. Is a 6603 still a 4 cylinder or is that a 6 cylinder? I'd have to look it up and see what the horsepower is on it. But I'm pretty sure that's possibly new enough that that's got a computer brain in it. And I've said it before, I don't want to get a computer brain. That's why the newest I would go is like a 7410, 7710, 7810, and I don't want a 78. That's way bigger. 77's even too big for me. But 10 series is the newest I really want to go. I don't want to get anything that has to rely on a computer to run. Um, the hundreds and the tens, they only have that one power wire to the injector pump. So the other electronics on there are basically just your electric tack and that type of thing. So 60, 70 pounds max vashel N seem to be the key on rye. It's a good scavenger of any leftover nitrogen. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, you're right, Ted. The chopper on the back of the combine. I want it to be a little chop. I don't want it to be over chopped. I want it to be that I can round bale it. When I take the net wrap off, it just falls apart. Basically, so it's easier to spread out. These big squares that I have of the oats that we got from the land across the river, it's just so hard to shake it up, and then it's so long. And when I go out and check the cows all the time, I always fork them their patties out, and the longer stuff is just kind of harder to deal with. Cold, going well. Had rain and wet snow here all day. Cold, finally turned nice out just just before dark. Yeah. 109 horse, 6 cylinder turbo diesel. Be a nice tractor. If I wasn't so worried about farming economy right now and borrowing money, I'd probably buy it. I'm just I haven't bit the bullet on anything yet because I'm just afraid of what's going to happen. I've talked to a couple bankers now. I talked to our chairman is sits on the board for I can't remember if it's the bank or what exactly it is, and things aren't looking very good for too many people right now. So I'm kind of just kind of hanging there, just kind of waiting to make any decisions as of yet. The way it sounds, there's going to be a lot of auctions coming up, a lot of business, a lot of farms going out or going under, or reconsolidating or whatever their debt. So there's a bunch of tractors coming for sale that I might be interested in, and a bunch of other equipment. So I'm kind of hanging off or holding off on that for right now. Um, Made from '02 to '08, 6 cylinder. I wouldn't mind looking at it. When I hear 6,000 series, though, I keep thinking of my 6400, which has been a great tractor. I mean, for only 85 horsepower, what that tractor will do is amazing. It'll walk circles around the 4020 all day long. And I should just find a 5,000 series and just keep running the 64. But I really want just a little bit bigger tractor and then probably put a loader on the 64. The 64 is really nice unloading chopper boxes because I can pull the boxes over the pile with him. 4020, no way. So, how's it going, Midwest Alice? 120 pounds on your rye. Yeah, it would be really nice to be out in the field. If it would just warm up enough that the stuff would start to grow and the snow would quit, hanging around. Um, we had a little bit of thunder today and some rain, and the driveway is muddy, but after the rain, it firmed up. It's still wet, but it firmed up. So if this snow would disappear and stay above freezing, we get some rain, it would get to where a guy could do something out in the field without ruining it too bad. If we could get 3, 4 days of no rain or snow and some decent weather after a rain, a guy could actually go out and do something in the field. So, how's it going, Monty? Any good auction lists? There's, I'm watching some auctions right now, buddy. Don't you worry, I might have some surprises coming. I've been bidding. I got a finger that just can't resist. So, these tractors are still the wrong color. Well, we all have our problems. I only thought liquid nitrogen since probably it would go in the ground and start working right away. And I don't know because even if it's liquid, you're not putting enough water on or enough liquid to begin with for it to go in the ground on its own. Um, you still almost need a rain to wash it in the ground or to get it to go in the ground. So I don't know if you're better off going with that versus pelletized or not. The only thing I would say with the liquid is it's going to be better coverage. You're not relying on that little pellet to dissolve and then spread, where the liquid's going to be more evenly covered, I would say. Um, if I knew that I could get my sprayer set up to spray liquid fertilizer easy enough, I'd probably consider it. So glad I came in the house. How's it going? I see you got really muddy today. Soupy mess. Alice, only way to go. Keep that mouse off the bid button. Hard to do. I'll bid up to what I feel something is worth, where it's a good deal. It's got to be a good enough deal to where if I really wanted to, I could turn around and make a little bit of money on it. Otherwise, I don't bid too much. I mean, I bid plenty, but I don't bid it up too high. So when you've been a equipment jockey in the past, you kind of know this is all the higher I'm going to go because if I bring it home and change my mind, you want to make a little bit of money on it for all your screwing around. Sounds like you got what we had last night. Sun coming out tomorrow. Well, Fritz, I hope you see the sun tomorrow. Um, I would like to see the sun one of these days. I need to stop moving on me here. Gonna be smoking some bacon. Can't do anything else. That sounds awesome. You smoke your own bacon? Yum. They were talking about farmers growing hemp and getting permits today on the radio. Bean prices are tough. Is there any truth to this? You know. Well, Brad, there is truth to that. First, you got to be able to get the permit. And I don't remember. I know CVTC had a meeting on it here back in January. I did not go to it. It doesn't sound like they just hand them out. There's quite a few stipulations to even do before you can apply for the permit. And apparently they don't want to give out any more than they have to. And I want to say somebody said you have to have NR 590 plan and a bunch of other stuff because it's really hard on the soil. So I don't really know for sure. Yeah, Mr. Ted, he's in a blizzard right now. With liquid, it skips the step breakdown from the solid form. The liquid fertilizer is more stable than the dry. Now, if I go to liquid, can I keep using the same nozzles that I have in my sprayer, or do I have to change the nozzles too? Um, I have, I don't even want to know what you call them. My nozzles are not the regular nozzles that spray straight down. Mine shoot out the back, and then they cover 40 inches. They're like, I call them airplane nozzles, but that's what worries me. I don't want to have to change a bunch of stuff around to do it. It's so easy to just get the broadcast spreader and or the fertilizer buggy and go out there and do it. That white we bought is just about ready to get out of the shop. Not a bad tractor for 20K all in. That's a nice tractor. 95 horse. He's 10 horse bigger than my 64, you know, but he's got a 6 cylinder in him versus a little 4 cylinder. Enough that Ted drove the tractor home. Boots aren't tall enough. Had to come in and put clean jeans on. Yeah, it's a mess up there. It's a mess everywhere. It's a soupy mess here too. I need to put the tracks on the skid steer, but I knew the snow was coming, and my tracks are solid on the pads. And if you get on snow, it just keeps building up on top of them. So I can't put the tracks on until the snow's going to be gone. So how much snow are we going to get up here? I don't know. Weatherman says 1 to 3 tonight. Another 6 to 8, 3 to 6 tomorrow. I think it was. I don't know. Then the next one says total we could get something to 16, 10 to 16 or something. I don't know. They don't know. They're just guessing. They're kind of like a doctor. They just practice. Permits are free here. What do you mean you use what Wes uses? Streamer nozzles for fertilizer. You would have to send me something, Ted. I don't know exactly what streamer nozzles are. How's it going, Jake? How did Wes learn that the stream nozzles hurt yields? What's a stream nozzle versus he just shoots out a steady stream instead of a mist or what? Favorite way to fertilize with the planter right next to the row. Well, Ted, some people believe everything they hear. How's your gang doing, Jake? We're waiting to see where to attack next. Sunny and 80 here. Rub it in, Monty. Rub it in. Some of us are about ready to go to the doctor and get depression pills. This is just pathetic. My cows even need to go to the doctor and get some. They sit and stare at that hill, wondering why it's still white, not green yet. Last year, I think they were on grass already. Wes is growing grass. We were growing corn. Totally different situation. Yeah, and at the fertilizer course, they showed his dad their yields. I wouldn't think it would hurt the yields if you're applying fertilizer next to the corn. The only thing I could see if you're talking a straight, just a stream going down in the hay, well, yeah, it's going to leave streaks. You're going to have all kinds of oversaturation here, nothing over here. But talking 14 inches here, where you at, Jeff? You can turn your pressure down on the sprayer and dribble the fertilizer on. But what I'm wondering is if I can still use the same nozzles that I already have in there. Because those nozzles work great, and mine, the orifice on them is a lot bigger than the 20-inch spacing straight down nozzles. So, and my cousin was telling me that I should start using AMS, but it's a powder you put in the tank, but you have to have a really good agitator to break it out, break it down, dissolve it before you go out and spray, and then spray AMS with my when I'm spraying my glyphosate and stuff. Ben 80's here today with strong winds. Well, that should be drying the ground out. There's one advantage to that strong wind. Southern Minnesota. All right. You're gonna put a test plot out to see what system does better, Canadian welder. Use the nozzles Wes uses, I said. I don't know what nozzles Wes uses, and his sprayer has the deal on there where you can have three different nozzles on there and spin them, I want to say. Mine, I have a $150 sprayer. It works great for what I use it for. I don't want to stick a whole pile of money into it because eventually I want to get a newer sprayer that the tank sits the other way so it doesn't do the teeter-totter thing. And I like to get 40-foot booms or something and GPS. So I don't want to stick a whole lot of money into the one that I have. Use the same nozzles, but they recommend streamers. You get lots of rain Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a weird year, I think. It's just everything has been so weird this year. It was extremely cold all winter long here. Um, I want to say we had more days below zero than we had above, and um, we had snow ever since the last day of deer hunting. So we've had snow since the beginning of December, and every time it just about all disappears, which has only happened once already. We got another 10 inches of snow on top of it. Now we're gonna get another, 6 to 100 inches of snow again. Now, I mean, just just when the driveway starts to firm up a little bit, we get a bunch more, and it just goes backwards. Very, very depressing. Mm, Ted is right. If you spray fine on bigger crops, it can hurt it. Yeah. Well, and with my winter rye, it would be applying fertilizer on it as soon as possible. I don't want to be running through it once it's 2, 3 feet tall. So I would just broadcast on there, with the fertilizer buggy from the co-op. Auto steer on the 40/20. That's a good one, Brad. I don't know how well that would work. The 4020 first would have to have the front end totally rebuilt because there's a lot of slop on the front end of her. The loader on it for the last 10, 15 years hasn't done it any justice, I'll tell you that. But once I either get a loader for the 6400, or if I so decide to buy a 50 or 5000 series with a loader, the 4020 won't get a loader put back on it, and then I'm gonna probably go through the whole front end on it and rebuild it. Sure Jake could help you out, yeah. SJ7 stream jets were good for N. Call them poor man streamer bar, laugh aloud. Very little burn from them. All right. I don't know. I don't know nothing about nozzles. What I buy, I get at Fleet Farm just because I can drive there and pick them up. Um, and they have a lot of options there too. Um, Going to look at a PTO water pump next weekend. Any idea where to check? Thinking about seeing if I could use it on 3-point sprayer. What are you talking about, Midwest, on a PTO pump? Because I just have um, my pump hooks right onto the PTO. I can't remember if I have a 4-ball pump or if mine's a 6, but then it just has like the 1-inch shaft, and then you buy the coupler there, and my coupler will go on 540 or 1000, and that's what I have on my sprayer, and it puts out way more pressure than I need in this one. The old one that was on had the serpentine belt. That pump sucked. Yeah, I'll order system for the 1800 at the same time. I'm thinking, oh, what was that? There's an easy system or something. I think Ted told me about it. I looked up around $1,500. I'd like to get one. It would sure be nice for spraying beans. I tend to get lost out in the field. I know where I'm at in the field, but I get lost. I miss spots, and you can never judge if my boom is over far enough or if it's over too far. You might end up on the wanted poster. Rumor has auto steer compensates for slop if you program. Well, that would be a tough one, Darren. All right, Ted, I'll look that up. I guess I'll check my phone. The poster burnt up. Good one, Jake. I would think too, Jake, if there's a lot of slop in there, that steering wheel is going to be slamming back and forth constantly. So you'd just be beating your tractor up even more. Probably burn the motor out in the part that turns the steering wheel. It's the newer style without the belt. Um, if anybody, Ted or Jake, want to chime in or Bandit, um, any of you guys that have a sprayer, Midwest Alice fan is looking for advice on what to look for on a pump on a sprayer. Biggest thing is make sure it turns. That's the first thing. Other than that, there's not a lot of slop in the shaft, so telling you that it's not totally wore out, you still aren't going to know anything until they actually put water in there and hook it to a PTO. That's the problem. In Midwest, you can buy that pump that I have brand new for like $100 or $150 at Fleet Farm. So, or Farm and Fleet, they both sell the same whatever brand it is a blue pump. Um, if you're going to buy a whole sprayer, I'd be more worried about the rest of the sprayer versus just the pump. That's just me. If it's the nice one that has electric controls for shutting off different zones or shutting the whole thing off at the end without having to turn the PTO on and off, I'd be more worried about that stuff working than the pump working. Um, Yeah, you kind of get spoiled at work, don't you, Dan? That's the thing. You get to go run nice equipment for work, and then you come home and play with your old stuff. But it is what it is. Might try a light bar. Pretty cheap and make spraying easy. Yeah, exactly, Jake. Earth is flat. Question and test what you have been told. Does not match. How big a sprayer? How much flow do you need? Yeah, I guess I never even looked at your question there. Midwest is a PTO pump or is a hydraulic pump? NASA got caught using wires and harnesses to fake zero. Okay. Well, horizon level, I don't know what to tell you there because when it gets darker during the night and light during the day, I don't know what else to explain it if it's not round. I could be wrong. You might be right. I don't know. I'm not going to argue with you on that. I'm just a dumb farmer. The online auction, it's an it's on an online local auction with an open house, and I found a lead on a cheap 3-point system with 5 books and a tank. Just need a pump. Well, honestly, if I were you, I would just go buy a new pump. You can buy those ones, like I say, at Fleet Farm. I want to say the pump, you can get into a pump for around $100. I don't know how big your tractors are, but a 3-point system, you can only go so big before your tractor can't handle it. I would probably just go buy a brand new pump. And like I say, the pump that I have, you buy the coupler right there with it. Mine's a 540 or 1,000. They marry right together, 2 set screws, and then you just plug it how you want. It's always got to update when I don't want it to. Um, I would just go get new because if you buy new, you know it's gonna work. And actually, I think Shoop even has the same pumps in them in their catalog. Um, Use triple pump rated for around 100 gallons per minute. Roller pumps have good pressure, but not necessarily a lot of flow. All depends on your needs. Well, Darren, you thought wrong. Better get your tinfoil hat out. This kind of talk. I'd say go to your local Rennans or Farm and Fleet, and as long as yeah, my my pump when I put on there, my booms were what did I cut off of them? 6 feet off each side, and it powered mine just fine. And right now I'm covering. I can't remember if there's 9 nozzles on there, 40-inch spacing. So, well, if you can buy the whole sprayer cheap enough, just buy it and put a brand new pump on it. It'd be well worth your investment to just put a new pump on right away. If you go through and dink around and fiddle fart around with a pump that's half junk, you're gonna kick yourself in the butt and say, "Why didn't I just buy a new one to begin with?" A good one, Jake. 60 horse D17 is what I'm working with. And just remember, water weighs like 8.3 pounds per gallon or something like that, approximately. You can Google it to make sure you know the exact number because I'm probably off a point or two. But you got to take into consideration how far back the tank is going to be from where your 3 point is. So if you have a 2,500 pound lift capacity, and now you put that tank out farther for more leverage, that's going to be even harder to lift. So um, you're probably not going to be able to run a 300-gallon tank full. Uh, so and booms make weight too. So you might have to cut back. So one of them smaller pumps should be just fine. I wouldn't get an electric one. I get a PTO one, but like the one I have, I think I paid $100 for it, and that would work perfect for you. My pump that I have, Jake, I run about half throttle, and I can push 50, 60 psi pretty easy. But you kind of I don't know. If Earth was flat and you traveled a straight line, would you fall off eventually? I would think down into the black abyss. It'd be nice to keep the weeds down on my driveway and spot spray areas. Well, Darren, everything in Canada apparently is 5 times the amount of money it is here. Look it up on Shoot. Look up, go to fleetfarm.com and look it up there. They have the pumps online. At least they did the last time I looked. 100 to 150 bucks. Nothing that's going to break the bank. Just clean it out good. Put some crop oil in it when done, and a new pump will last a very long time. Well, Darren, sometimes you get ahead of yourself. Sometimes you should do some research before you start planning stuff. You might be farther ahead. You might not have to pull as much hair out of your head trying to overthink it. Got to walk, Colin, to breed. Have a good night. See you later, bud. Hopefully the snow's done and you don't come in with muddy pants again, which if you're gonna walk a cow and you will. Yeah, Jake, it's a cheap pump, but it's been a heck of a good pump. And obviously I'm not, you know, spraying with 50, 60 foot booms, so that helps too. But it's been a dang good pump. And every spring it doesn't want to turn and I have to kind of break it loose. I should do what Dan said and put some crop oil or something in it, but I never do. I'm lucky enough to take it off and bring it in the shop so it doesn't freeze over the winter. Monty has a 110-gallon 3 point sprayer with 30 foot of boom with a 6 roller pump and it works good. You see, mine's either a 4 or a 6 roller. I can't even think of what the name of it now. It's blue. It's on the tip of my tongue too. High Pro or something like that. How many acres of corn and beans are you planning on this year? Um, Around 30-ish on the corn and around 40 on the beans. Say it warms up this week. You think you could be in the field in 2 weeks? Yes, easily. If it warmed up this week and we didn't get any rain and we had decent sunshine, I could be in the field in a week. I have sand. The lower spots where there's more like silt loam and stuff, I would probably have to stay out for 2 weeks. But if the weather changed today, tomorrow, and the sun came out and we had sun for a week, very easily I could be in the field in a week. High Pros. That's what mine is. A High Pro. It's a blue pump. Bought it at Fleet Farm. Oh yes, sand. Yeah, I have a lot of the hills are sand. We have silt loam in the bottoms. It's heavier ground down there. Um, there's some clay in certain spots. We have everything here. It varies so much. Then you get higher up in the hills, and you've got shale. So yeah, how's it going, Canadian Hawk? This must be Ted's message. No, it is my bride message. Perfect. It didn't go in the ditch. Canadian Hawk. I think most of the frost is out here. Water is going down, it seems. And I think a lot of the frost was kind of out of the ground here a week ago before we got that last snowstorm. The snow had melted on the south facing slopes, been off for 4 or 5 days. The hillsides were drying up, so I'm pretty sure the frost is out of the ground on the south facing slopes. In the winter, I was growing because the deer are out there eating and they've got plenty to eat. They still keep coming to my silage pile at night when we get snow, but they've been out there feasting on winter rye. So my silage pile is about empty. There's probably 2 weeks worth of silage left in there, and then it's gone. It lasted longer than I had anticipated. I figured it to be gone by April. So, and actually, I just stopped feeding the cow silage 3 days ago. So now it's just the young stocks getting silage for the rest of it. I'm glad to hear it's going good, Canadian Hawk. Second week of May, we might be in the fields, maybe. Yeah. If this stuff keeps up, it might be the first of May before anything. I would really like it to change so the grass starts growing. My cows need to go on grass. See you later, Jake. Darren, that person that showed themselves earlier is not who you think it is. That is a fake account. At least I'm 99% sure it's a fake account. What would you plant for hay if soil is kind of bad, pH of 5.4? Just a grass and clover. A lot of my soil pHs are down lower. Um, or at least they used to be. We in the past have planted a lot of clover and just um, orchard grass with a little bit of Italian rye and then clover. And we at one point I put 2 ton of the acre on everything, and a lot of mine was calling for 6 to 8 ton. And now when we just did a soil test 2 years ago, it's calling for 2 ton on everything. So I haven't put a lot of lime on, so I don't know why it's changed. An old guy once told me that start planting a lot of clover will sweeten the soil. I don't know what that does for the soil pH, but yeah, I took his advice and I planted a lot of red clover, medium red clover, and it's been better. It also helps that I don't buy a lot of commercial fertilizer, so I don't get top yields because I don't push my fields. So I'm putting a lot less salt on the fields that way, or filler, or whatever you want to call it. May 30th, we put the cows out last year. They're getting anxious for sure, even with the free stalls. My cows are too. They stand in a line and just look up the hill like, what is going on here? And I feel bad for them. My cows are grazers. They don't like being in a lot. They want to be out on pasture. It's the cheapest way to keep cattle alive is on pasture. I bought 200 ton of lime from the cities, but my crop fields have been corn for 20 years. That lime, was that sludge or whatever? How's it going, Robbie Moore? Um, yeah, I told you, Darren, it's just a fake account. He's got 4 or 5 of them. I wasn't ignoring him either. I was going to go back and acknowledge him because I remember what his first channel was. before he changed them all to because somebody really ticked him off. How's it going, Chris? Something to watch while I eat dinner. Well, I'm glad I can be your entertainment, bud. You probably aren't going to learn much, but we'll keep you entertained a little bit. Ted, your calls are like, we were on pasture. Why did you bring us in and lock us up? Just because we're going to have babies don't mean nothing to them. Um, yeah. Cheapest way to go for lime. I need a lot. Now, on that, Tim, we just had a discussion on this in our gang the other day. What somebody said that there's heavy metals in that biosludge. What do you know about that? What's it high in? Is it high in copper or something, or mercury, or what's it high in? Do you know? Have you got a analysis on it or anything? I know Ted would be interested in hearing this too if you have any feedback on that. Yeah, Brian, I agree. It's getting out of hand. But in that whole situation, I will say a lot of it was brought on by the person that they're attacking. I will say that. If you knew more, there's a lot that you don't know that's happened, so I will leave it at that. That class A or B? Oh, you guys are talking about. I don't know nothing about that. You didn't, but you can get it. The organic guys. They only allow so much of it, huh? Well, I know DLK Hay was talking about it the other day. Don't know if any of you guys watched DLK Hay. But he was talking about trying to maybe get some of that bio sludge or whatever for lime for his fields. And apparently up there, he's got to get permits and stuff from the city to even get it. But somebody told him it's high in heavy metals, and we were trying to figure out what it was high in, but we couldn't find anywhere that really gave any information on it. So I have dropped it. I'm done with it. I don't know what you're talking about there, Darren. Um, so yeah. Anyhow, anything else anybody wants to talk about or hear about or whatever? I guess that could be like all the other channels. We got 27 viewers and only 8 thumbs up. Come on, guys, hit the thumbs up. I don't beg though. Yeah, I'm there with you, Darren. There got to be too much drama, so I unsubscribed and I don't watch anymore. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. So it's when somebody else's drama is dragging your life down, you need to cut it from your life. So there was some comments made to me directly from that person, so I just cut ties and haven't looked back in the rearview mirror, and I'm much happier for that. There's a lot of you guys on here that have become really, really good friends of mine. And why do you need to have anything negative in your life when there's so many great people out there that you can talk to on a daily basis and not have that negativity? So I'm there's no reason for it. Um, I really don't want to even talk about that type of stuff on my channel because it doesn't need to be here. You know, I honestly think that if you get to that point where you're being so negative all the time that you're only going to bring your own channel down and, you know, it's whatever. Tim, I do cash crop. I raise beef and normally I raise pigs. Last year I took the year off because pigs were so crazy. The guy that I get my feeder pigs from, he's a friend of mine, and he was having people pay 80 to $100 for a 40-pound feeder pig. And of course, if he's getting that kind of money, he kind of wants me to pay close to that. And for what I need to sell those pigs for after I'm done feeding them, I'd be charging my customers so much. I just didn't feel comfortable with it. So I did not raise any pigs last year, but this year we are going to raise pigs again. I have a bunch of customers that have already asked for me to raise pigs for them this year, and I kind of explained to them what I would have to get for them, and they all agreed to it, so I'm getting pigs. I need one for my freezer too. I used the last 2 ham slices for Easter dinner, so I need some more pork for my freezer as well. But, um, I read up on it. Virginia State has a lot of information about it on their internet. Well, I will look that up because I did not see that on there, so I will, check into that. N Brian, no, I had to stop because I just mentioned it, but he sent me a message and whatever, and, I fine. He basically slapped me in the face, so he made up my mind for me. I just read the comments. Just bought my grandpa's farm, so rebuilding farm and trying to decide on what direction I'm gonna go with farm. Well, Tim, you have options. I don't know where you bought your grandpa's farm, so you would share with us what state you're in. And kind of layout of the farm is a big thing in your decision making. Um, I personally don't think I could go to just cash crop because the cattle bring a lot of benefit to the farm. Not really for your pocketbook per se, but the nutrients that the cattle give you back that the cash crops really don't give you. So if you could do like I do and kind of a little of both, it's kind of a win-win. Some people don't like animals though, so that's if you don't care for animals or want to have to be there to take care of animals, then it's not for you. But I think cattle should be on a farm, I think. But there's a lot of big farms that they don't have time to mess with cattle, so that's understandable as well. But no, Midwest, I have not heard anything back on land yet. Um, there is one farm for sale south of town. Me and the wife drove by it the other day. Um, it's 96 acres. It is a dairy farm that they quit milking cows in it like 2 years ago, and everything is still in it. No, I do not intend to milk cows, but I wouldn't be opposed to buying a dairy barn that still has everything in it. I've done crazier things in the past, but the problem is they want $500,000 for it, and out of the 96 acres, there's probably 30 acres of it that's wooded, and then it has a creek that runs through it, which isn't terrible, but if any of these setbacks come into play where you can't have cattle there, that pretty much takes care of probably 8 to 10 acres of the property right there that you can't even have cattle on. So, but neighboring properties, nothing yet. Um, I don't foresee the adjoining properties coming for sale for the next couple of years. But I have one farm half a mile up the road. He is getting to where he can't hardly get around anymore. It's only a 40, but it's set up for beef. It's got a gutted out dairy barn on it and a couple silos would be real nice for a steer lot. Um, I've talked to him and he knows that I'm interested when he finally has to get rid of the cows, that I'm interested in buying it or renting it. I know it's hard for them older guys to get rid of their farm and not have animals there. So I said, well, would you consider renting it out or selling it? And we do the right deal. You can live the rest of your life in there rent free. So that offer has been made. And then there's another farm through like 3 miles up the road, 2 miles up the road. Then you take a left, go down a dead end road, past my pig farm buddy's place. There's another farm on at the end of that road. The owner of that is in the hospital and not going to live for very long. And I don't know if his wife is going to want to keep it or sell it, but they're old and they live down by Milwaukee, so I don't know if they'll sell it or if the kids are going to get it and then they'll sell it. So kind of waiting on that. And then there's another lady here. Her husband passed away probably 15 years ago now, and she has been living down in assisted living for the last 3 years. And I'm pretty sure once she passes, her kids are going to sell that property as well. And that has a shed on it that's set up for beef with a silo, a corn crib, couple grain bins. It's only a 40, and then a house that needs to be tore down. So as of right now, I'm still waiting on property. But knowing my area, and with me being on the board, I'm actually on two boards for our township. Um, there's a lot of older folks in this township that have property that will probably be for sale within the next 5 years, maybe 10. But I really want to buy the adjoining piece of property. So if one of these other pieces of property come for sale, I might buy it. That's kind of why I'm holding off on any big purchase right now. So I pushed down one time and I went crazy. They put Class A sludge in potting soil. No, Chris, I'm sure I just answered your question on that. I have not made a decision on a tractor yet. I'm just so nervous with what's going to happen in the farming, with the whole farming thing. Not my farm per se, but are we going to have a frost in June? Is corn going to go to $6 a bushel, or are they going to set record yields and it's going to go down to $1.50? Um, are beans going to stay at $9, $10 a bushel, or are they going to go down to 5? I'm just a little nervous to take on another $8,000 a year payment. So broilers, beef, cattle, but have 80 acres of cropland to use too. What's what state are you in? Oh, guess I just had to read down a little farther, Tim. You're not too far away from me, buddy. You told me that, and I'm gonna forget it in 2 days. So probably the next time I'll have to ask you where you're from again. I have a really hard time remembering where people live. Um, Travis, do you feed your cows corn silage or just hay, grain hay? Travis, my cows do not get any grain. They get corn silage and hay. They get one bucket of corn silage a day, and then they get one round bale a day, and they're overfed. They're fat. Canadian welder farmer unfriended you on Facebook, didn't he? Yes, he did. That was the first slap in the face. Most of what we want is cattle. And I think, Tim, your best bet is the cattle. I mean, it seems to be more the most money in cattle, I think. I could be wrong, but how's it going, Jeff? Um, but yeah, I think cattle's your best bet. I mean, I don't know, just crops are great. You can do your planting, do your spraying, and then do your harvesting and not have to do anything else the rest of the year if you don't want to. But you're limited with cattle, and if you do it right, or if the weather plays the game right, you can do both. So if you do the winterize thing like I do, and you can make enough winterize feed that you don't have to have as much hay grown, then all of a sudden you can raise some corn and beans. But the cows get fertilizer back. Where corn and beans, yeah, beans are a legume. They make some nitrogen, but they don't, not as much as a cow gives. But we all can't be Jeff Raymonds. As much as I idolize Jeff Raymond, we all can't be Jeff Raymond. I push down one time and then all of a sudden it skips everybody's stuff. I'd love to buy some land, but at my age, I don't want to be 70 and still paying on it. Yeah. I just hope to make enough money to pay mine. I have a plan right now to have all my stuff paid off in 10 years. 9 years now. So if I buy more land, it's going to be on a 10-year plan on that piece of ground. So that'd be 2 years after my current plan. Um, what is the rent prices around here? Depends on what it is. Most of it's 85 to 300, depending on the topography. If it's Hilly, it's 85. If it's flat and big, it's 300 for Coney T average of 130 bushel the acre corn and 27 beans. 300 bushel or $300 the acre is what some of these guys are getting. It's that, of course, was a couple years ago. I think right now, I want to say the average for our area is around 125 an acre. How's it going, Chris? Yeah, it's time to be cautious when buying things right now. Yep, exactly, Dan. You nailed it right on the head. You know, I don't think that we have to jump the gun on anything. Um, if you just take your time and aren't impatient, things will fall into place for the most part. Sure, if you want to make stuff happen, you can make it happen, but I have never got a good deal on anything by just going crazy. Just wait. The right deal will come along. You'll get a heck of a deal on it, and you'll be that much farther ahead in the end. So, well, $8 corn. If what I saw on Ag Day today, if what their thoughts or fears or whatever, I didn't read the article. I just read the heading because sometimes I'm too lazy to read. But they set a frost in June for the Corn Belt. Must not be talking about Wisconsin because I'm not in the Corn Belt. They must be talking Iowa and Illinois. I don't know, and Minnesota because they're considered the Corn Belt more than we are. Um, I think if they have a frost in June and it kills all the corn, possibly because there's going to be the fear factor in the markets then. But as of right now, I don't foresee it. I don't know how they could, unless they're lying about inventories and stuff. I don't know. $8 corn would be awesome though. It'd make my 10-year plan go down to about a 6-year plan. I think we will see the normal harvest time lows and then slowly go back up through the winter and spring. And you are 100% correct there, Jeff. I just did the math on it with what cash price was at my local elevator the other day. It is 87 cents a bushel higher than when I sold my beans. And with storage, it 2 cents a bushel per month. On 6 months, I would have come out like the heck was it, 50 cents a bushel higher or something. So, and no, I will not put up bins. Darren, don't ask me about putting up bins because I don't want the risk. Um, I would rather pay the 2 cents a bushel per month storage to them and let them have the risk than me have that risk. So, might be different story if I was running thousands of bushels of beans and corn a year, but we're not talking that many thousands of bushels of each. So, I think was or West. I don't know what you're talking about there, Canadian or West. What the or West part is. With as much old corn still on hand, it's going to take a major weather problem to even think about $5 corn. Amen, Jeff. How's it going, TNT? How's that new heifer, right? How's that new heifer doing? Darn right. Will came to the party. How's it going, buddy? Well, not everybody's going to stop growing crops because we all need an income, even if it's only $2 corn. It's most people can't afford to let their land sit idle for a year, just like most dairy farms can't dump their milk for 2 days. That would make a big difference if every farm in America dumped their milk for a day. Nobody can afford to do it though. Ontario cash crop. It's snowing and blowing. That's how it's going. Boring. Cows are fed, bedded down, wood stoves full of wood, nothing to do. Like West said, all farmers have to stop selling to make them desperate to raise the prices. I just touched on that. That's right, Will. $8 corn, we need $4 cattle. And Brian, that's what drove the land rent up the last time was $7 corn and $15 beans. And a lot of those guys are regretting that they signed a 5-year contract for that price. Yeah, Mac, a lot of people would have to because you can't pencil it out. Not at what they're paying for cattle right now, or milk, for that matter. I'd like to have some $8 corn to sell though. I think if corn hit $8, I'd probably sell some cows at the same time I sold the corn. Although I don't know about selling my cows because I miss them. Whiskey live stream time sounds like you're darn right. I don't have any whiskey in the house though. I'm probably gonna pronounce his name wrong. Wiedemann Photography. Hi. Egg wild, high corn equals high cattle. I hope you're right. If price goes up. Yeah, Jeff, we do. We just need it to where a guy can make a living comfortably. We don't have to all get rich, but we don't all have to suffer either. The most irritating part is all the people that get a cost of living raise every year and we don't. You know, had two bulls born so far. They're doing all right. I might have to. I guess I heifer in the video. Well, you just bought an older one though. That's when I didn't you just buy a bigger one, like a yearling heifer or something like that? Maybe it was a yearling steer. I don't know. I thought it was a bigger animal though, not a calf. We all love Mac's channel. Wish he was a little bit busier making videos though. He must be a busy, busy boy. I know he's a busy, busy boy. He's gonna be even busier before long. What's a germine? How's it going, Fallow? How's the weather over in New York? Oh, we got another Massey guy in the crowd. Where do you go? I pushed down one time and it skips so much stuff here. I should probably start reading faster. Well, I'm glad I pronounced it right. Every time, every once in a while, even a squirrel gets a nut, apparently. Because normally I pronounce things wrong. Have a full bottle. That would be a great live stream then. Count me in. I ain't got nothing going on tonight. I'm bored out of my mind. Two heifers and a cow. Cow calf last night, and I was out till 11 pulling it. I'm glad my calving season is behind me now. I just wish my one mistake was that I would have put that one heifer in the shed when I had the chance because I thought, nope, she's in the shed. I'll leave her and I'll get her in later. It took too long trying to get her in there. Me and the wife pinched her between the gate and the lean-to and pulled the calf there, and it just nothing worked out right, and I ended up losing the calf. The only calf I lost. So that really ticked me off. It was a heifer calf too. I'd have been at 28 females. But 1 out of 16, I guess, better than two. So there you go. German. Just keep the whiskey locked away. No, 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 no. He needs a whiskey with him. Dump it right in his coffee. Warm today. I wish I could say the same. The one who I am in fight with to get land. You're not in a fight with him because you're not even farming yet. Blind squirrel. I'm sorry. Even I said that wrong. Blind squirrel gets a nut. What a dummy. Snow situation is deep. Is it coming down pretty good, Ted, or is it just blowing? I mean, I know it's snowing, but is it more blowing or is there a fair amount of snow actually falling? Getting a ton of rain in southern Wisconsin. At the current moment, it is not doing anything. It was raining this afternoon, then it turned to sleet, and then it turned back to rain. Then the wind picked up and it rained some more, and now it's not doing anything at the current moment. Would love it if it just like petered out before it got here, but I have a feeling it's not going to. Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about, Jeff, but you pretty much just summed up a lot of us. Deep situation. Just wearing a t-shirt today. I wish I could go outside in just a sweatshirt, let alone a t-shirt. Man, I'm really jealous of you guys. It won't last. See you later, Mac. Have a good night. Well, you better worry about farming before you worry about fighting for land. Really, if you could just get your own parents ground around for to begin with, that'd be a heck of a good start. That ain't really fighting with the Germans, anyways. That's running family ground. There's no reason for anybody to get mad about that. Now, if you were taking Tom, Dick, and Harry's field down the road, and they've been renting it for 30 years, then it's a reason for them to get mad. Wednesday was 78 in Nebraska. Wow. 49 in New York. Would that be in a lifetime or the next? Blowing wind and raining buckets, calling for 2 to 5 inches Saturday night, northeast Iowa. Yeah, I just hope the rain doesn't shut off. You know, when we need rain, July and August, when the corn's tasseling and whatnot. Um, had a few days of 60s, felt like 90 to us. Sure, it does. Once it hits 50 here, it's going to feel like 100. It's been so cold here that up until I would say in the last month, we've had more days still below zero than or below zero, below freezing than above. It just seems like it. I mean, Tim isn't too far away from me. I bet you he could say the same thing. It's been miserable. Normally the snow is gone by early March and we can be out in the woods and we're comfortably in a sweatshirt to at the middle of March. Not this year. I could see wearing a t-shirt when you're splitting wood. The problem is when you get done, then you get cold. When I can afford what I need, everyone always bitching about rain. You can send it all my way. And see, Ted, or Ted West, Will, exactly. I'm not complaining about the rain. I'm complaining about the damn white stuff that keeps falling. I wish it was rain. Because at least if it was rain, the frost would come out of the ground and the stuff would actually soak in the ground and not just run down into the river. And then we got guys like you that can't buy rain. Well, I guess you can in your center pivot, but that's expensive. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Wet and cold in August for my area. Let's see how that's going to work for finishing out corn. And that was a problem last year. We didn't get enough heat units to finish off our corn. And that was a lot of people in this area. They were drying 30% corn for a long time. Saw a guy chisel plowing this afternoon. I did too. I was on YouTube watching it though. They can't even haul manure around here. It's too sloppy, you know. And then when it does, it snows again, and then you have either mud underneath the snow, or it's frozen again. And you know, around here they don't want you spread manure on snow because of the hills and the rivers. So there's a lot of guys that are really, really, really desperately praying for warmer weather, especially these big dairy farms that have full manure lagoons. About the 101st day of January, you are correct. I did put thunderstorm on the calendar on my phone. I just got to remember when we get the first frost to look back and see if that's actually accurate or not. And you can't go off of 1 year. The guy should actually be doing it every year. Should have been doing it for the last 40 years. So you kind of have a average to go off of. Am I going with shorter day corn? Yes. Not fully. I ordered some 80-day corn, which, in case anybody asks, I will just grab it and show you right up front or tell you the numbers. I just got to get my paper here out of the mess. Ted already knows what I got. My longer day corn, I got Golden Harvest. It's a 93 day, triple stacked. You can see that. This is a discontinued seed, so I got a heck of a deal on it. It's last year I had 94, 95, and 96 day corn. So this technically is shorter, not much, but it is a little bit shorter. And then I ordered a Dairyland Dia 6780 Roundup Ready 2. That is an 80-day maturity corn. I don't know for sure which one I'm gonna plant for which. Um, if I'm gonna plant the 93 day and chop it, or if I'm gonna plant the 80 day and chop it. Um, the plan is to try and get it harvested earlier this year, that I can get my winter rye planted earlier and have more for fall grazing. So I don't know, but I was really hoping to plant corn earlier this spring to be a little bit farther ahead, anyways. So, yeah, I don't know. That's what I got for seed corn though. And my beans, I got the same, a 1.9 stemmier type plant. So yeah. Never heard of that. You've never heard of what? Syngenta. I planted DeKalb for 2 years and I quit planting it. They said strong roots, strong yields. The roots weren't very strong on the year that I did it. I don't know. It doesn't much matter. I don't know, as long as you're not. It seems like if you're buying any type of name brand corn, it's all right. Um, I haven't really raised any corn that has really let me down per se. Yeah, pricey. That 80-day corn is $225 a bag, and that discontinued seed, I bought everything that they had or what they had left. That was 160 a bag. Otherwise, if I wouldn't have got the deal on that Golden Harvest, it would have all been the same 80-day stuff from Dairyland. Dairyland has treated me really good over the years. So is LG, which was Johnson, or they bought Johnson, and they carried one of the seeds over from Johnson, I want to say, over to the LG, and my Um, Guy that I buy my seed from found that, and we grew it, and that's some of what I grew last year, 2016, and that was the 85-day corn, and it yielded better than what my 94 did last year. So some of that did over 170 bushel. So yeah, 80-day corn. Well, I am. I can be to Lake Superior in a little over like an hour and a half at most. So I'm up there. Around here, most guys 95 day is pushing it. Some guys with silage will plant 104, 105-day corn. But with me doing the winter rye, it's hard to go a much longer day than 85 because nothing wants to mature at a decent time to get stuff planted to get it growing to be able to graze. Or in the spring, you got to have enough where you can get the winter rye harvested for baleage to get the corn in. So I could probably go, we're going to find out this year because I've got an 80 and I've got a 93, and they're going to get planted on the same day. So we'll see what happens 6 months after first thunder. Well, I heard it from an old farmer that has since passed away, and I've heard it from a few other people too, that normally 6 months after the first thunder is the first frost. So, and he swore by it. Who knows? He could have been pulling all of our legs. You don't know. But um, Iron Run Farms and Lake to the Party. Any more talk, thoughts, acquiring a bale wrapper? I am still looking, but at this point, I do not know if I'm going to buy one. After the snow melted off the hill today, and I walked out on it and kind of checked the rye, I don't know if I'm gonna have much winter rye to bale this year. I'm probably just gonna have the backfield that was silage, basically the two fields that I chopped for silage. I think is all that's gonna really amount to much. So um, I'm actually I have a bid on two choppers right now, so I might actually chop it and pile it. There's so many bale wrappers in the neighborhood right now. I just found out that I'm afraid that if I bought one, I wouldn't even be able to rent it out to help make the payment. So I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe just chop it, pile it, pack it, and cover it. Yeah. And decal work. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes you pay for a name. See a Midwest, the Cobb and stock photo I sent you were the decal. I don't remember that photo. Doesn't matter. According to the picture, to me, it all looks the same. Yeah, Darren, back when I raised decal, I was still tilling the ground. So actually, I think the last year I raised decal was the year before I sold my 4430. So that was the year before that I quit my job working at the metal fab shop. I sold my 4430 that spring, and then I quit my job because the thunder count if it's snowing. I don't know on that one, Ted. I'm hoping it doesn't. But really, 6 months from today, if that's the first frost, what's that going to be? Maybe I hope that it's 6 months. Bought an HS bale wrapper my custom guy was selling, so it seemed like the right time to buy his. How long ago did you buy it, Dan? Because there was just one on Craigslist in Sparta, somewhere down there. 18.5. It was a custom wrapper special. I mean, it had every bell and whistle on it. I guess you said H&S. No, this one was a Anderson hybrid extractor X or whatever they called it. It thunder last month there. Well, you're a month ahead of us on your first frost, buddy. Bale wrappers are so expensive, it's crazy. I'm in the wrong business. Yeah, they can be expensive. That tube wrapper I was looking at, they were selling for 18.5. It was a 2014 model, I want to say. And then I looked at 2013 Vermeer single wrapper. They wanted 7,500 for that one. I just don't know if I want to spend that kind of money. I might just try and buy another New Holland 790 chopper or older Gale. There's a Heston 7120, I think it is, sitting just over the hill, about three-quarters of a mile as the crow flies. Um, it's got a hay head and one row corn head, and he said, "Give me a scrap price for it and come pick it up." Been sitting in the shed for 10 years, not being used, so I don't know. I might go look at it, and if I just use it for chopping rye, it might be fine. I like another New Holland, but it's got to be a 540 PTO because I hate switching the PTO on the tractor. Ear size in corn means nothing. If I plant half the population, ears would be big, but not twice as big. Yeah, exactly. Take this job and shove it for farming. Actually, I think you'd probably be better off going to get a job in a job shop welding or something. You'd be farther ahead. And honestly, I don't know how you could make it farming without that job. I know you don't have to have a mortgage payment. Hell, you don't even have the electrical payment. But just the seed cost alone and everything else, I think you're foolish to try and farm without a full time job. See you, Travis. I think the Andersons have more options, but the H&S is super simple. Yeah, I was looking at a H&S. That Anderson, just for the price, kind of caught me, but I don't know. Just that's a lot of money to think about right now. And honestly, if you're thinking $19,000 for just a wrapper, and I see choppers sell all the time for $500 to $2,500. $18,000 is over half of the tractor that I want. Am I better off to spend double the money and buy the tractor and a cheap chopper or a bale wrapper? So I don't know. Take this job and shove it. Whatever I was saying you. What do you mean by I don't understand what you're trying to say here? How's it going, Ontario, guy? Sun came out and all the snow is gone. Till when? Gonna start snowing tomorrow? For another guy and keep enough cows and calves to make payment and actually have money in my pocket. Well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. As long as you can keep your operation going and go somewhere else to make money, guy's got to worry about his own family. So, you don't want to lose what you've got, but a guy's also got to make a living. Looking at diamond wrapper. I looked at one of them too. Problem is I don't want something I got hooked to 3 point. I was split between a hay shed or a wrapper, but felt the wrapper gave me more options. It is a lot of money though. It is, but you don't have to pay taxes on it every year. But yeah, I'm kind of in that same situation. Um, but if it come down to having to buy a single bale wrapper or a shed, I think I'd build a shed. But with winter rye, you can't get that stuff dry enough for dry hay, at least not before corn and beans. So I'm probably just gonna end up chopping it, I think. If I knew for sure the goat dairy across the road would rent it, it might be a different story. But I don't know how much they're gonna need it. You know, oh, I fell asleep and had a bad dream. I'm doing good, man. I'm bored out of my mind, but I'm doing good. When you sold a tractor to afford to go get farming plus quit job. Yeah, and honestly, Darren, I probably should have kept working there. I was making damn good money. If I'd have kept working there, I would have had everything paid off now. I'd be sitting basically debt free except for the main mortgage on the house. But hindsight's 2020. I can't change my past, but I can help direct somebody else's future to make better decisions. Dreaming of mowing grass. At this point, I'd love to be mowing grass. Be better than pushing snow, pushing mud. Pratt's greenhouse. Farming is tough right now. My brother milks, and the company that buys his milk just dropped premiums. That's the first step. Then all of a sudden, they're going to start dropping farms. But see you later, Bandit. It's That's why I'm nervous about making too many more big purchases right now because what if cattle tank out? What if beans tank out and corn and cattle? Can't rely on my wife to make all my payments for me, so I it's a risk, it's a gamble, but you know what? You don't have to throw everything on the table. I'm working 3 jobs now just to keep going. See? So yeah, I don't know. What does a guy do? I mean, honestly, an off the farm job isn't a bad idea. Might be what a lot of people are going to have to keep the farm, you know. So, and like with you, Darren, you don't have any really income, any kind of steady income. I don't think a banker is ever going to talk to you because you have nothing to show for a guaranteed income, you know. And it's like when I talk to the bank, they want, my taxes and they want this and they want that. And they look back at your last 10 years. And what really is the kicker or the plus to it is my wife's income. They look at that more than anything. So I honestly don't know how anybody could start farming without a job that they've been at for a couple years and they have a good income record history for the bank to even go off of. Um, how's it going, Cameron? How's the weather down on your farm? There'll be no milk hauler soon. That will be it after milking for 100 years. That's going to be a sad deal. Now it's sleeting in. I can hear it pelting off the windows. Your state has a wide difference in agriculture. How far are you from Pink Dairy? He put oats in 2 weeks ago, yet you still have snow. He is 4 hours south of me. Yeah. So all these guys that are talking about how farms work and Pink Dairy and all them guys, they're 4 or 5 hours south of me, 6 hours south of me. They're a long ways down there. I'm way up in northern Wisconsin. They're in southern Wisconsin. I still think the best investment is land. Land slowly continues to rise from a growing population of cities. More people move to rural areas, raising land value. I agree with you 100%, Iron Run Farms. And that's why I'm afraid to make a big purchase that would hinder the bank's decision on financing more land for me. With what I have right now, this farm can operate. I don't have to have another tractor. I don't have to have another skid steer. I don't have to have another truck. So I don't have to go out and make a big purchase. Um, Another tractor would be awesome. It would be very convenient, but I don't think it's a price tag that is worth the convenience at this point. Um, For the tractors that I want, the models that I want, that 7,000 series, double odds in the tens, one of those, 77 or lower, you're still talking 30, 40,000. That's half of what the property that I want to buy is going to be if it's the bare ground. If, maybe not quite half, but close to half, I mean, that makes a big difference to the bank's decision to borrow to you. And the funny thing is, the banker, not my main banker, but another banker told me that they are more willing to finance on equipment than on land, that they are really, really nervous about borrowing to farmers on land. And they are nervous to borrow money against anything to farmers right now. And another guy who goes to the bankers meeting said that there's a lot of farmers that aren't getting extended lines of credit this year that who knows how they're going to buy their seed this year or any of their inputs. They can't pay off last year's stuff. So I don't really see the need to jump into anything right away. If I sit and wait, you never know. I might be on Craigslist one day. All of a sudden, there's a 7410 in there for 21.5. I mean, that's how I got my 6400. Just by chance, was on. I can't remember what I was on. All of a sudden, 6400 for 21.5. You got to be kidding me. I went on Tractor House and looked. Every other one was over 30 grand. Best part about it was 30 miles from my house. I drove down and looked at it, talked to the salesman. I said, well, I want this, this, and this, and this fixed, and I'll give you 21.5 for it. Sounds like a plan. We shook hands. I called my bank. Said, this is what's going on. I said, all right, I'll wire in the money. They set it all up. The guy said, we'll put it in the shop and should have it to you in a week or two. Called me up. Said, your tractor's on the truck right now. It's heading your way. Perfect. So I wasn't looking. Best deals happen when you're not looking. So I'm not gonna jump the gun. I'm bidding on some things right now, but it's nothing that's gonna cost a lot of money. And if it does, I won't buy it. I'll bid it up to what I'm comfortable with, and then somebody else can have it if it gets to be too much. So I'm a cheap ass. I mean, for the most part, I try not to spend money foolishly on foolish things or stuff that I don't need or just to be the envy of the neighborhood. So where did we get away from here? So don't buy equipment that could impact your financial ability to scoop up more land. I agree with you. Yeah. Team cattle is back. Sowers. That's why I'm doing calves. It's the only way to justify buying more land. Cows can't pay for it here. Yeah. Well, and that's why I won't go and buy cattle. Number one, my wife is dead against me bringing animals to this farm other than a bull. But we had such bad coccidiosis problems a couple years that we were raising cattle. And ever since then, does not want me buying any type of young stock. She hates the fact that we even have to buy a bull to bring here. So I just slowly grow the herd on its own. And honestly, once all these females are full grown, I think 25 is going to be my max capacity here. Um, so I'm at 27, so I'm going to have two to call right away once they're all bred. So, which I guess is a great place to be. I would love to have more cattle than that, but until I can get more land, I I don't know. I'm stuck there. How's it going, Landmark? Some farmers couldn't afford crop insurance, then the banks wouldn't give them an operating loan. Crops insensate, unsecured debt. Game over for the few. Yep. There's a lot of people already hurting. There's a lot of people hurting last year. So lending for equipment over land, yes. I thought the same thing. And then you should have seen how furious my wife got. That must be why our buddy in PA has a bunch of newer equipment and little acres. Probably. Our buddy. Be a smart farmer, you have to pinch pennies. That's the lifestyle of the Pennsylvania Dutch. Save every dollar everywhere you can. Yep. Guess I could have phrased that better. Ah, yeah. Mass, you supposed to get snow too? I don't. I think it's gonna go above those guys over there. I agree. Keep a closed cow herd as much as possible. Other than a few bulls, I haven't bought cattle over 15 years. And I've actually, my father-in-law, he sold his dairy 3 years ago now. I want to say they sold the dairy herd. They still have the farm. Then they rented the barn out to was an employee of theirs. And then he bought half the herd. The other half of the herd was sold through, I don't remember, the auctioneer, Wisconsin Holstein Association had the book made up and everything for it. But he now, since retiring from the dairy, is he works for International Protein Sires as a herd mater and semen salesman, and he's gonna try and get me all the stuff to get set up for doing AI. Um, then we're probably gonna start AI in the cows. Somebody needs to teach me how to do it, but we're gonna get set up for AI and start AIing everybody. That way we can pick different bulls for the heifers, different bulls for the cows. And me and Ted have been talking a lot about that. And Ted's right. It's getting into AI would do wonders for my herd. It give me a lot of options, anyways. Instead of going on Craigslist and buying a Black Angus bull or a Simmental bull in the neighborhood that you don't know nothing about. So, um, Rome was not built in a day. It's just crappy year. Weather sucks. Yes, it does. Put the barn and just have them inside. Wouldn't take much room. Ted, I'm gonna reach through this computer and slap you, boy. Cattle weren't built to be in a barn. They have 4 legs, a forage harvesting mouth, a manure spreading rear end. They are not designed to be in a building. They are designed to be grazing. Buffalo roam the prairies. Cattle are the same way. And you know that. Rain tomorrow and Sunday. Cattle going out at my place. I have a roof for them to go on, yes. Are they going to be confined? No way possible. I have seen more videos of people losing cattle from getting trampled on by being in buildings. What's the point? I haven't had a calf get trampled ever. I've had him lose them to mud. I've fixed all those issues now, but I've lost them to heat stress in the summer. Calving in June and July. Don't calve then. I have the best luck February, March. We get them on the ground and up and running strong before the mud, and they have a roof to go under if they want to. 9 times out of 10, they don't go in the shed. So just vaccinated my calves with force while the weather was warm. Yep, in force. And I'm sorry, Landmark, I don't envy you for having to raise Holsteins. I am so glad that my beef herd is up there to where I don't have to raise them things anymore. You know, my herd was 90% AI last year. It works great if you can do it yourself. I went to a course and learned. That's my plan, Dan. I'm hoping my father-in-law will teach me how to do it. He was gonna get the kit where it's the fake reproductive tract, and you can practice and everything on there. And then there's another AI tech that said he would help teach me how to do it. So, um, father-in-law is gonna get the semen tank for me, and then I'm probably gonna buy some of the semen from him, and then some from Accelerated. Um, but I don't remember how to sync the herd and all that, so I need to be re-educated on that because in the first couple years we did AI and we synced the cows, so I had the neighbor come breed them. He'd come sync them, and then X amount of days later he'd come back and breed. And then we kept an eye on them X amount of days later, and if they come back into heat, we try and catch them on that day and just breed them right there. So, um, knock on wood, get a $500,000 bull. No, because that semen probably costs $125 a stick or a straw. No, Alan, it's Trump. He already cured global warming right away last year because we didn't have warm enough to finish our corn. Apparently, did too good of a job because now it's too cold. Now it's global cooling. Landmark just started AI last year. My steers never go aside, only when we scrape barn. Yeah, steers are a different thing though than cows. I would not have cow calf in a confinement barn. That to me is foolish. But what do I know? I've only been farming for 40 years, so my whole life. Here, poor you have to raise Holsteins. Well, you're just in your situation or your predicament. That's what you're forced to do for right now. I don't mind the black and whites. I don't either. You see all mine? All my calves are black and white. 3 new calves fed. Gotta love dairy. Amen, buddy. Yeah. Holsteins are a totally different ball of wax. You know, parents are against having animals not in barn and let out in blah blah blah. That's because your parents never farmed. Once they have animals locked in the barn and they all get pneumonia and it bites your ass, they'll have a change of heart in a hurry. Trump just ordered airstrikes in Syria. Things might heat up. Area has 300 head kind of confinement barn for all cows, cow calf. I couldn't do that. Just the economics, just the cost of the barn to begin with, the infrastructure, and then the added cost on feed storage, putting up all that extra feed. They were designed to graze, let them graze. My opinion. Nobody has to take my opinion and do what I say, but that's my opinion. Um, there's a lot of confinement farms around here too. And there's a lot of guys that spent millions of dollars on barns that that's what ultimately put them under. And now they wish that they would have never built it, that they would have left their cattle the way they were. And they're struggling to get back on their feet. So, TNT, the nice thing, if you can have a building where they can go into calve, that's one thing where they can go in and out. Um, I'm not against having a shed for cattle to go in and out, but I mean having them confined in there all the time, I don't agree with. But you know that calf and cow, leave them in there for 3 days, wait till that baby's strong on his feet, turn them out, have that pen ready for the next one. It's a good way to get the calf strong, get good footing, and then let them go. You know, but as slats sends them out to pasture. Well, it's not so bad if they send them out to pasture. Having a building for cattle, I'm not against. I'm just against 365 day a year having them in there. Beef. I'm not talking dairy cows. You know, and you guys know that. But you only got coyotes to worry about. I got cougars and wolves. I ain't worried about coyotes. Mad Mama Cow don't take no shit from wolves or from coyotes either, so I wouldn't worry about coyotes. And once them baby calves are a week old, you ain't got to worry about coyotes anyways. Takes a lot of coyotes to catch a calf when they're up and running, and you got them with a bunch of mama cows, you ain't got nothing to worry about with coyotes. Coyote is like a pug compared to a wolf. Wolf is like a freaking German Shepherd, and coyote's like a pug. Oh, I'm putting a barn up just for mud season, but then they go back out on pasture. That's what mine basically is. This year I kept the cows locked in the dry lot, all dry lot, which is really dry. Dry lot all winter. I should have all wintered them, but I didn't. Um, no, thanks, Dan. I think a barn is great. I want to pour concrete to have my cows on for the mud because as a no-tiller, I gotta take into consideration where my cattle are during the mud. But technically, I really wanted to have them out wintered until the end of January. They'd be locked in the dry lot February, March, maybe part of April, and hopefully be grazing by mid-April. It wasn't intended to be, they don't start grazing until June, whatever it's going to be, type of thing. So no, I agree with having a building and a place for them to be when it's muddy. That's only taking care of your investment, your investments, cattle, your land. Cool. That's the rest. About to turn all our cows out and cattle to pasture. I envy you for that. Yeah, TNT, that shed that you have out with your cows, it's perfect. They don't need much. Most time, my cows, they've got a shed going or two, and they won't. They stand out in the rain or they stand out in the snow. But on certain nights, they will push all the calves up to the front by the young stock or the yearlings, the older cattle, and they hold them up in the front so don't get trampled on, and they all stand underneath the roof. It's very few days or nights that they actually do it, but they have the option. So I think they should have the option to do whatever they want to do. Oh, Baba, you saw my handsome smiling mug. Now you're just being silly. What is that green can? Mountain Dew. My drink of choice. Actually, my addiction, I guess, that I need to quit. Hard to catch after a few days of age. They are very hard. Waits a bit and sends them out. Yep. Once them calves are 3 days old, and you know that they know who mom is, you know the mom is taking care of them, and they're strong on their feet, they don't got to be in a shed no more. As long as you don't have mud that's up to their belly and they can get around, them beef calves are tough. And after they're a week old, try catching one. Them little buggers will about beat the crap out of you. Cows are a savings account. Some year you draw more interest than other years. Yep. Is the grass growing down there, Bubba? Had a bull calf tonight. Congratulations. Think a good ale might be healthier for you. Probably. I don't have any beer or anything in the house though. There is some alcohol or liquor above the cupboard or whatever, fridge. I ain't drinking that stuff. I hope we have no calves tonight. I hope you don't either. Well, that's good, Devin. Do you have a respirator mask and oxygen at the farm? I don't, but my father-in-law does. They would they had a Holstein that had troubles calving and it was a slow birth or whatever. They would put that mask over the calf's mouth to give it some oxygen and get them thinking again. I'm not a big drinker, period. Um, when I go to the bar with the friends or whatever, the other local farmers, I will, but I don't I don't drink much. And it's been a couple weeks since I've been to the tavern, so I I don't know. Don't feel that I need to drink alcohol all the time. It's fine when I'm with the friends or if I'm down at the campground, but I so do you, Ted. So do you. I think me and you have the same problem. I have been drinking it my whole life, and it is one of the hardest things to quit. I had quit drinking Mountain Dew for about 3 weeks. I couldn't take it anymore. No, I agree with you there, Landmark. You got a bride that requires some of your attention when you're not working, so and she says you work a lot. You're on here and you should probably be spending time with her right now. She's probably gonna send me a message. I told you he was mine this weekend and he's on watching you. Oh, no, I just don't know. I don't like I say, drinking is fine if you're out with your friends or whatever, but I don't like to drink a whole lot. I don't want to have to worry about drinking too much and driving or any of that mess. And really, it's in one end and out the other. It's kind of like throwing money away. So I will when I'm out with friends, and then that's, maybe once a week. Sometimes it's every other week. Sometimes it's once a month. So not yet. Cold night, hold it back. Tough seed is here, and Clint went today. Picked up a brilliant cedar. $25,000 experiment. Wow. Yeah, that mask. I want to say it's just the same mask that you get at the hospital, then some tubing, and then just O2 tank or whatever, oxygen tank. You get it, for your shop or whatever. It's all they have. He says it makes a big difference if you have a slow birth, and he said if you get a big dumb Holstein, said give that to them right away and gets oxygen to the brain faster. And he said then they don't usually have big dumb bull calf syndrome, but it's something else you got to take care of and make sure it's there and doesn't get broken or whatever. So, but well, guys, we are over 2 hours here. So if anybody else has anything they want to talk about, you want to ask quick. Otherwise, I think we're going to end this, and I'm going to go out and yes, medical grade oxygen. Doesn't have to be for cattle though. Go out and check on my cows and fill their water tank because I don't have it running constantly right now. That's one of the plans. As soon as the ground thaws out, and the mud dries up, we're going to dig down and try and find that old water line and extend it and then bring it up through the bottom of the stock tank and fill the bottom fill tank. Uh my family is doing fine. Actually, my family is in Minneapolis right now at 10th Avenue and Mercy Me concert. So they're up having fun in the cities. Probably going to spend the night there because I don't think the roads are going to be good enough for driving home tonight. So I'm all alone, bored and all alone, hanging out with you guys. So we'll just heard Trump's. Well, just heard Blunt. Okay, that's what Ted was saying. I don't really know because I don't have television. I mean, I get PBS, Wisconsin Public Broadcasting Service, and I never turn it on. I watch all I do is watch YouTube and I'm outside. I don't watch anything else. Any news I get is on my phone on Facebook, and there's hardly ever anything on there other than the weather. So that's why you're so bored. It adds to it. It adds to it, yes. I'm sure if they were home, it'd be a different story, but saw on Facebook, popped up on your phone. Well, Darren, that's when you just shoot them. Keep shooting them. You can take care of them. Saw it on my phone. I haven't seen nothing on my phone. I got a couple messages from a bunch of people I got to check, but other than that, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes that's a good thing, but so no, I wanna hopefully this weather straightens out here soon. We can get digging a hole and get our stock tank thing set up and go down and get some flat steel and go order a valve, jolt valve, um, and float. Then fabricate my deal for the bottom of the stock tank. Then basically what I'm gonna do, well, you guys will see a video of it when I make it, but as a quick description, it's gonna basically be kind of the same setup as in the bottom of them big tire tanks or whatever. Have a jolt float in the bottom of it, and then I'm just gonna build my own deal and weld it all up so it's like a gasket for the bottom of the tank. And I'm gonna have a hose and a valve underneath it. Then it'll be a shut off valve and a horse barn, which that's already in there. So, and then I'm just gonna bury a drum, cut a hole in the top for I can get down into it and put a heat lamp bulb in there, and then um, have it run so that heat lamp will hopefully keep the tank thawed out, and whatever bulb burns out once the tank is empty, I'll tip it over, change the bulb, fill it back, or flip it back up, and fill it with water. So, yeah, I'll get to you when I can, Ted. But so yeah, anyhow, pharmacobble. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Well, thanks for tuning in, Landmark. You have a good weekend with your wife. You should think about building your own ark. Be prepared. I've got 4 boats and a pontoon. I ain't too worried about it. Take the back. I've got 2 boats now. I sold 2 of them. Well, I've got 2 boats here and a pontoon up north, so not too worried about it. But anyhow, I don't see anything else popping up. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Once I get the Wi-Fi and stuff done, try and now all the questions come in. Try and do a live stream from another place other than the house, like in the shop or out in the barn or something. No 7410, buddy. I am going to hold off for the moment. DLK, hey, how's it going, buddy? Have a good night. I will be in touch. Sounds good, Fellcroft. Have to run as well. Thanks for tuning in, Danny. No, thanks for hanging out, Dave, and I'm glad you showed up at the party. You have to stay now. I can stay for a couple more minutes, then I need to go outside. Darren, you overthink things. You think coyotes like to sneak attack? You should have wolves. The problem is you're not going to have one calf out there by itself. Coyotes are no match for Mad Mama cows. Mad Mama cows kill coyotes. You don't have to worry about it. And if they're that bad, you get a gun, you take care of them. Ask DLK, ask Ted. Coyotes are everywhere. You don't have to worry about them with cattle. If they get to be a few of them, you take care of them. Herd population, herd control. Mad Mama beef cows don't take no crap from coyotes. Well, Dave, somewhere between 0 and 100 inches. That's all I know. You've seen it with your dog. One animal. With cattle, you have a herd. Totally different thing. You need to get out of the house more. You should have grew up as a hunter out in the wild, out in the woods. You'd know more about that. Oh, don't any just got in from chores. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes because Dave just got here too. I can't give up on my buddies. Yeah, well, I don't know, Alan, if it was really Canada or the idiots here that wanted them back. There's too many people in Chicago and stuff that like the idea of them, but they've never seen one. So who knows? And they've never been extinct from Yellowstone and stuff. That sounds like what Mama's gonna get this weekend. Maybe if they ever come home. They went up to what did I say, guys? 10th Avenue and Mercy Me and 10th Avenue concert. So I don't know if they're coming home tonight or not. Haven't you watched how great the wolves are for Yellowstone? That's fine. Keep them out there. I don't care. They can stay in Yellowstone. My cattle aren't on the riverbanks damaging them. I manage my herd and my property. Yeah, I have a bear that's, if you go to the back of my property, back to the condominium behind me, and you go about 150 yards off my property line, there's been a bear hibernated back there all winter long. Bears don't bother me. I ain't worried about the bears. They're the same thing. They aren't hungry enough to go after a calf because they got to get through the mama cows to get to the calf. And if your cattle aren't confined animals and they have their herd instinct, they don't put up with no crap from wolves or bears or nothing. They protect their babies. They put the babies in the middle and they lay around them. You don't have to worry about that. But you can't have confined animals that don't have a brain in their head, you know? Watching you and Travis's stream. Never seen any wolf around here. Lots of wild dog. Same here. They're big dogs. You either have little dogs or you have big dogs. We don't have wolves or coyotes around here. They're dogs. Ain't no cow gonna give up without a fight. No. And you don't have to have a very big herd of cows to put a whooping on a coyote or a wolf. But you have to have cows that are good mothers. You can't have cows that are cowards. And cows that are in confinement, they don't know the instinct to take care of their young like that because they don't have to. My cows, you ever see where they're at during the summer? They're up in the woods. My property is surrounded or bordered by thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of woods. We have wolves come through here all the time. We have bears come through here all the time. My cows don't come back to the shed because they're afraid. They stand out there and fight. So you got to have cows that know what to do. Yeah, need to get a lot of things in. Just this weather just doesn't let up. Need some sun. Need the snow to disappear. But anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna end this because I need to go out and take care of a few things outside and find something to eat. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got 26 watching right now, 20 thumbs up. I think this has been a pretty good live stream. We averaged over 30 some viewers basically the whole time. So I think it's a pretty good hangout, I think. So anyhow, thanks for tuning in, everybody. There's anything anybody wants to see, ask, talk about, video of later on, just let me know. You guys know the routine. Catch y'all later. See ya. Later, Tater.